Welcome back, episode 6, CourtVision podcast, hosted by Slim and Trey. Playoffs getting down to the wire now.
Yep.
4 teams remaining, 2 games into each series. But we got to talk about the series that just happened, the semifinals.
Yep.
Kind of eventful, kind of not, unfulfilling a little
Some
bit.
series, we'll talk more about than others, but
Yeah.
that's how it goes in the playoffs.
To start, though, I want to ask you a question. So I was
All right.
scrolling on Twitter the other day, and I came across the NBA in the last 7 years,
Yep.
and including this year, is going to have 7 different champions.
Yeah, seen that.
Do you think that kind of change is good for the sport?
Honestly, I do feel like seeing all these different stars shine at like such a high level, the final stage, I think it's positive. I don't see a reason why, the NBA wouldn't want to push their product out and as many of these viable candidates as possible. We know LeBron's getting old. They need a face of the league. And I think this is sort of their way of vetting that process, getting a sample size of these young players winning. Tatum, we saw one. Like, these are young players at the high stage. Shea is up there now. Halliburton, Anthony Edwards. They're trying to figure out who their star is, and I think this is their.
Well, you said face of the league, and you said LeBron. So doesn't that mean the face of the league would have to be dominant? So doesn't it help to rally around, say, a common enemy like the Warriors when they were winning, the Patriots, for example, the Lakers back in the day? Isn't that what kind of brings in viewership sometimes, where you saw like Curry and the Warriors expanded the game globally, the viewership levels and stuff? Yeah. So don't you think it would hurt viewership maybe a little bit?
I mean, we all like they say viewership is down, and we saw the Lakers make big moves, and now viewership's back up. But I think that having a common enemy is important, but that's more just the fans, and they'll create that. Like, we've seen that happen right now in the playoffs with OKC. It's just a story. Like, it's the storyline. It's how it goes. The most dominant team naturally will have that storyline written for them. The NBA doesn't really have to do anything about it. OKC can become that team. They have the makings, already 64-win team, very young, bright future. So we'll see where they lead. But I think,
Yeah, and I think it all comes back to the CBA.
Yeah.
The parity. Like, the windows are so much smaller now, 2 to 3 years, one wrong injury, and your window's closed, like the Celtics.
Yeah.
They're about to blow it up. We'll see about OKC with all these max contracts they got to hand out and stuff.
Yeah,
we'll see
no owner can afford this right now.
Like, Shea's about to get paid $75 million a year.
Yeah. Last year's gonna be like 87 mil. Like, that's just insane.
Shea's really good, but I don't think anyone
that
deserves
type of money is. That's the market. That's just how it goes.
All right, jumping into the conference semifinals. Yep. First one, Pacers defeat the Cavs in 5 games.
Yep.
What'd you think of that one?
I feel like no matter what happened, and like if Garland was questionable, somewhat injured, I think losing in 5 for a team that was by far the 1 seed, like the Cavs were, and they set themselves so far from the pack, like aside from the Celtics were close, but everyone else no. I think the fact that they lost in 5 to a team that wasn't even the Celtics is very disappointing from them.
So would you say it's more disappointing on the Cavs, or like?
No, I do think
nice
it beats more to the Pacers' ability. I think Indiana is the comeback capital of the world. They have highlighted all these improbable comebacks, and I love what I'm seeing from Indiana. This is that team cohesion that I talked about last episode, how important it is in the playoffs, especially, and that's why they're here in the conference finals.
Yeah,
and looking up 2-0 to make a big push for the finals.
Yeah, so the Pacers, they shot 42% from 3 as a team in that series, which is just insane. And the average 42, that means you have to be consistent, because you're not going to shoot 70% and 30%, like something like that.
Exactly.
They're consistently shooting around that 40% mark. 42 is where they end up. And then they also average 30 assists a game. So they were playing great team basketball. No hero ball from that team.
Yeah.
They're all playing together for 1 goal. They're really fun to watch right now.
For sure.
And then the Cavs on the other side, so in the regular season, their offensive rating was first in league at 121.7. In the semifinals, their rating was 113.3, which would have been 20th in the regular season.
What is that?
So maybe you can attribute that to the injuries.
Yeah.
But I also think this team wasn't built for the playoffs.
Yeah. There was a collapse for sure at the end. And I mean, I thought, even with Indiana up 2-0, 2-0 is not a big lead in any playoff series. And we know they're playing that game 2 without Mobley, Garland, and like someone else I can't recall, but
Hunter, I think.
Hunter, yeah, 3 starters. And like I thought they were still gonna win this series, and I'm surprised that they lost, but Indiana's that team.
Yeah, there's not too much to say about that series. I mean, it is what it is. Cleveland didn't have half their team for half the games,
Yeah.
but still, I expected more from that Cavs team. Knicks Celtics, kind of the same thing. Injuries became the downfall of the Celtics.
Yeah, I mean, very, very unfortunate injury to Jason Tatum. I mean, I don't know. The Celtics, they couldn't close out any games, really. And that's just something you're going to suffer from in the playoffs. And then 1-1 without Tatum, but lost the next. I mean, it's going to happen. And for the Celtics, this is just a real transition period. We'll see what happens with them. How do you feel about this for the Knicks, though?
The Knicks, what I noticed from this series, and it's been confirmed too for because they're down 2-0 right now in the conference finals, time recording. They're not built to survive. Like they built to fight, but I don't think like they shouldn't have lost to the Celtics without Tatum. That shouldn't have been a thing.
Yeah.
Tatum goes down. Was it game 1 or game 2 that he went down?
No, he went down game 4.
Oh, he went down game 4?
Yeah,
he went down that late?
When he went
out. So the Knicks suck then. Yeah, it was the defensive series which really hurt the Celtics without Tatum, one of their better defenders. Two 20-point comebacks though with Celtics. Just
that's what I'm saying. These collapses are just. I mean, they're not what you expect from a team like Boston. Boston in the regular season, in past playoffs, they've known to be like strangle their opponent, like they hold them, like they don't let them get any momentum. This is a different Celtics team I saw this playoffs than last.
Yeah, they also Porzingis is
hurt. Some illness. He was playing bad.
Some crazy illness. He played, so I have it up here. The Knicks only had 7 guys play over 100 total minutes. Wow. And that's their 2 bench guys played 135 and 124. All their starters, except for Cat, played over 220. So Thibodeau doesn't trust his bench at all, and it's not going to be able to take him far. But then on the other side, the Celtics only had 2 guys play over 200 minutes, and they had 6 guys over 100. But Al Horford the lowest at 186, and they had 2 guys right around 100. Porzingis only played 94.
Yeah.
So the starters is what these coaches were relying on, and then the Celtic star goes down.
Yeah.
And no one stepped up.
Yeah.
So I think no, it wasn't a good series out of any of these teams.
No,
it was just like defensive series purely, and the Knicks came out on top.
Yeah, I mean, Tatum goes down. There's not much more we can expect from a Boston team without Tatum.
Yeah, the East was really boring, man.
Yeah, it was.
I don't even know if they had a good series all playoffs. Who the Knicks play in the first round? The Pistons. Is that your best series? That's not good for the East.
Yeah, it's not.
On the other side, Wolves Warriors.
Wolves Warriors. Now this is another series that we can just skim through because a Stephless Warriors went out in game 1. That was the only game the Warriors won. I mean, whatever. There's only one real standout game from Jimmy after Steph went out. Like it was just an uneventful series. Minnesota did what they were supposed to.
Man, it had all the makings for a classic series coming in.
The storyline was there. The star power is there.
Man. Butler revenge a little bit. Anthony Edwards revenge a little bit. But like, I don't know. Curry going down just took everything away. But one bright spot in that series, Julius Randle played amazing. Yeah. Julius Randle.
He's been playing up this playoffs. Playoff Randle used to be a bad thing, but he's definitely flipped the script with Minnesota so far. And, he did stand out in that series and in game 1 of the conference finals. I mean, he really tried, and 30-plus point game from him. So that was great.
Yeah, it was funny. Draymond Green went on his podcast after. Yeah. He's like, I got beat. I could only ever say that once before. And you know who it was? Siakam. And now he's saying Julius Randle cooked him. So, I mean, that's high praise because Draymond doesn't praise anyone unless they're LeBron.
Exactly.
So. He showed up 25, 7, and 7. He had a great series.
Yeah, he did. Also, like, one thing like that was highlighted, I mean, for the Warriors, you can't talk about much being highlighted, but, Kuminga is a player that I feel like still has a bright future in this league. I'm still like, I don't think he's like has star potential, but I think he has some upside that the Warriors are not tapping into. Mm-hmm. This is a saga for like the past three years.
Yep.
Kuminga has been mad, and Steve Kerr has no care that he is mad. He's doing what he's doing as a coach without Kuminga's future in mind. I think they need to get him out.
Yeah, he both sides publicly have came out and say I should play more, and then Kerr will say no, he shouldn't play more. He doesn't fit with the team. So I just don't understand why. Because I remember the first time it happened, he said publicly he wants to play more, and then he like shaved his head, and then he started going off. His value went super up. He was playing well. He was playing super well. It's like a mythical creature, like untucked Kyrie and stuff. So I think they should have traded him back then, or even at this deadline right now,
Yeah.
because they could have cashed in on some like Cam Johnson if they got him from the Nets.
That'd be
Kuminga would be
nice.
good on the
Yeah.
Nets too. It'd be a nice piece for them to have. And I think that's what they should try to do this summer
Yeah.
still. Try to look for a Cam Johnson, take
Yeah.
some pressure off. They need more shooting around Curry and some more scoring around Curry. I think that'd be like a perfect fit for them. And
Sure.
Kuminga's the piece to use, and he's right there. And you're already saying your head coach is coming out saying,
Yeah.
I'm not going to play him, and when it matters.
And he said
so,
it multiple times. I mean, this is just, it's getting ridiculous now. Like, we need
Yeah.
to move on here.
And then the series of the playoffs.
For sure. By far.
The Denver Nuggets making the OKC Thunder look mortal, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I mean, the most mortal we've seen them like
All
this
season.
whole regular season. So
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, it was great performances from both teams. You know, great games from both teams. Both sides had their blowouts, had their close games. I'll just start off with, obviously, there's 2 MVPs in this series. I mean, and this year's season MVP. I just feel like the supporting cast for the Nuggets is just too inconsistent to have them contend right now. And there needs to be some changes. But as for this series, their wins came off the back of a nice cohesive team effort. Everyone's playing up, and their losses were miserable collapses from their teams, like bench. Like, I just can't see how this team's gonna make that next move. But for OKC, this team is so fun to watch.
Yep.
They're
amazing.
Even people say offense is the fun part of the game. Their defense is fun to watch. The way they move, they're always scrambling, moving. They have so many talented perimeter defenders. We've known this, but it's just being highlighted these playoffs.
It's
And
all kudos to like Sam Presti and his staff, man.
For
Like,
sure.
They're building
For
from.
sure.
It's not like they're signing these guys. The only
Yeah.
signing is Hardenstein.
yeah,
They traded a homegrown talent in Giddy for Caruso. All their big players are Shea, but like
yeah,
they developed Shea.
yeah.
He
He wasn't
that
he
player
wasn't
when
that
he came
value.
to the team.
Yeah.
So you said about the Nuggets starting cast being too inconsistent.
Yeah.
So I have every Nuggets win, they had at least 3 guys score 20 or above.
That's what I'm
In
saying.
Game 4, they had 4. Every loss,
Yeah.
they only had 1 score above 20, which
That's
is the okay. And one
crazy.
game didn't have. I think it was Game 2. They didn't have anyone score
Wow.
above 20. So you need that level of consistency. So the Thunder, they only ever had 1 game with 2 guys above 20 points, which
Yeah.
was Game 7. But every game they had 4 or 5
Yeah.
guys around 20.
Yeah.
So they were a lot more consistent. But I think at the end of the day, as you said, it comes down to the defense.
Yeah.
OKC just suffocates you, man. Caruso checks in, Caruso checks out.
Yeah.
Case and Wallace comes in.
Yeah.
And it's just, you can't get away from him. J-Dub, shout out to him. All defensive second team. Ludor, all defensive first team. And there's 5-6 guys on that roster that could have been on that all defensive team. So I think, so I have it written down here. OKC won the turnover battle 124-74.
Wow.
That's a
Wow.
50-point swing,
Yeah.
50 turnover swing.
Yeah.
And OKC in the regular season and the playoffs so far has been the best team at converting turnovers to points. So if you're giving them that kind of stuff and you're playing at their strengths, they're obviously going to dominate.
Their defense is their offense.
Yep.
And that's just such a powerful thing for any team in any situation, especially the playoffs. And it's not slowed down in the 2 games we've seen for them in this round. So, I mean, this is just great basketball. Like, both sides of the ball, it's beautiful to watch.
I think, honestly, when it comes to this series, I said I opened with saying the Denver Nuggets made them look mortal.
Yeah.
But I think the Thunder played worse than the Nuggets played good. I think
they played down.
Game 1 was winnable. They gave it away.
Yeah.
Not fouling up 3 or fouling up 3, but fouling too early.
Yeah.
Game
Jokic
4, Game 4 they almost lost, but they came back. Game 6 was close until the end. Like the series could have been done 2 games earlier.
Yeah.
Very easily.
For sure.
And this Thunder team scaring. You're seeing it in the conference finals so far. They're up 2-0 and just 2 straight dominations from them.
There was no contest in either of these games, and I mean, it's good. I mean, you talking about earlier the parity and dynasties in the league. This is one in the making, and I just feel like there's obviously it's gonna be tough to hold all this talent because of how everyone plays together. So everyone is looking to get paid, but so far right now, it's one of the best teams.
This team seems so like together and like selfless. They seem more like a family than a team kind of thing. So I'm curious to see if any of their guys take a pay cut.
I'm sure they will.
Brunson did it with the Knicks. Like Shea, maybe he takes a little
Yeah.
pay cut. J-Dub, Chet take a little pay cut just to keep the core together. That for me would be really cool to see.
Listen, if you're making $87 million a year, I think you can take a little pay cut.
Yeah, I think you're fine with 30, 40. Like,
I don't think.
Obviously he won't take that
Yeah,
big,
yeah.
but like,
70 is good, bro. 70 is good.
70's more than good.
Yeah.
Okay, and then, so the NBA did something weird where they announced the MVP 2 weeks later than they usually announce it.
Yeah.
And I guess it's because they were waiting for that series to
Yeah.
end. SGA won the MVP. How does that make you feel?
That's the storyline, and that's where we are right now. And I think he's very deserving of the award. I mean, this is obviously, I believe it could have went Jokic's way, but I'm not mad at all that went Shea's way. I think his team, the way that we didn't. First of all, we shouldn't even talk about the playoffs when we refer to this MVP award. This is strictly regular season, and in that way, his team dominated, and he dominated on that team. So you know what? I'm happy for him. I'm Canadian. He's representing, so I'm happy. Like, he won that MVP.
Yeah, like any other year, you hand it to Jokic. He had a great season,
triple-double,
an amazing
30,
season.
almost 30.
But what Shea did was just never been done before. Like that net rating that his team had, he was a major part of the biggest star, the biggest team, the best team by far. I think it was like, it's arguably the best regular season team ever. And Shea's the captain of that ship, putting up 33 a game.
Sure.
Like, we had this debate before. Both guys deserved it for sure, but Shea absolutely deserved it, and I'm very happy he won. He was very emotional in his press conference after. I love to see that because he doesn't really show. He's very stoic on the court in his interviews after. See that side of him it was really cool to see as a fan.
Yeah.
And then more on Shea, just because we're on the topic. How do you feel about all this free throw merchant flopping discourse?
Shea, I feel like right now in this basketball landscape, there's a lot of casuals.
Yeah.
I feel like that I cannot know anyone. I cannot know their opinion on anything on ball. I asked them, what's your opinion on Shea Gilgeous-Alexander? Based on their answer, I know who knows ball and who's a casual.
Yep.
It's an NBA litmus test. Yep. It's literally going to tell me how much do you actually watch basketball, or are you a TikTok warrior or Twitter warrior? And that's how I feel about this. Because Shea, first of all, why are we exaggerating so much? There's it's all just a storyline to hate on the most dominant player on the most dominant team in this NBA landscape right now.
Like how you mentioned earlier, the common enemy.
Yeah.
You said OKC and Shea are starting to become one. I think that's exactly where they're from. So I have I prepared a bunch of stats from before. So through 12 games in the playoffs, SGA had attempted 110 free throws. That would put him at 407th all time in the amount of free throw attempts through 12 games.
Insane.
Most free throw attempts per game in a single playoff run. SGA this year, 257th in history. Most foul draws per game this playoff. SGA is in 5th, behind Jokic, behind Brunson. My two biggest floppers in the NBA by far. And then the last one I'm going to mention here is this guy online. He looked up the guys who led the league in free throws attempted per 100 possessions. SGA is outside the top 30. So I think you were right. It really comes down to you can tell who watches the game and who just looks through comment sections and sees these little kids piggybacking on other guys' things.
Exactly.
Like, I know a lot of guys whose knowledge comes from comment section.
For sure.
And they're really easy to pick out. I think Jalen Brunson's the worst in sport. I mentioned it last episode, and he does not get clowned for it at all. Which really pisses me off. Jokic, the only time Jokic or Brunson get clowned is when it's the fans from the opposing team they're playing. Yeah. It's not like a whole NBA-wide thing.
For sure, no.
Versus Shea, for some reason, everyone's choosing to gang up on him. I don't understand that at all.
Yeah, I mean, only averaged 8.8 free throws a game. Like, is that – and he averaged 32. Like, is that really something we're going to be talking about right now?
I sent this out to our cousins group chat. Dwayne Wade, let me see if I still have the picture. In his his finals run, his 30-06, he attempted 97 free throws in 6 games.
Yeah.
He was averaging 16.2 a game. I did not know about that happening ever until this week.
Yeah.
But Shea's 9 a game are being highlighted so much.
I mean, we've seen this. This is a story like as old as time. But this one in particular, we've seen it with Harden and with Embiid. But the thing about those cases are James Harden, that when we look back at his season, so we talk about him in such praise. When it was happening, everyone was hating. Everyone was hitting free throws. That's all the storyline was. He was with that Stephen A clip. He's averaging 40.
Yeah.
The reason he had to say that so mad is because people were literally undermining what he was doing, and I just feel like that's just it's repeating itself. It's just a story as old as time.
I don't know. I think the more and more these fans hate on the basic aspects of the game, the more and more you'll see these players more care about money than the game.
Yeah.
And not be like as into it anymore. And I think so that comes back to 7 different champions in 7 different years and all this to CBA. So I think the NBA is it's in a good spot.
Yeah.
It's gonna be cool moving forward. I think the playoffs are gonna be the rest of the playoffs are gonna be really fun to watch.
For sure.
I think Thunder are gonna walk through though, but I think it's gonna be a fun to watch because their blowouts are all fun to watch.
Yeah,
they never have a boring game ever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna give a finals prediction. I mean, it's both teams that are up 2-0. That's my prediction, really. I'd see Indiana and OKC going and heading to this finals. And as much as I love Indiana, I'm high on Indiana. I just don't see a path for them in this.
I think they're a bit phony. I think they're really good. We've been praising them all throughout the podcast, like all episodes. But same story as last year. Their first 2 rounds, they played strong teams that were injured.
Yeah.
So say both teams were healthy, and I don't know how those series would have gone. And then the Knicks just stink.
I mean, the Knicks, 2-0 and a team that relied on this many comebacks. You praise them, but you see that they relied on that many comebacks. There's only so much praise I can give them for performing the clutch, but the whole game before that, like, why were you down 20? Why were you down 10? Why were you down 15 with like 2 minutes left, 3 minutes left? Like, this is not something that can be stretched out very long. And OKC is not going to let a comeback happen.
No chance.
With that little time to go. It's just not happening. Their defense is far too suffocating. And I just feel like OKC champions is just what's about to happen.
I agree. I think the Thunder series is over.
Yeah.
They'll sweep maybe 5. I think the Knicks have a little life left in them. I mean, game 1, they were up. Obviously, you mentioned that historic comeback. Then game 2, they're there in the fourth quarter. So I'm excited to see the last couple games. The closeout games will be really fun for that.
For sure.
You got anything else? Or I think...
No, just wrapping up this episode. I mean, I don't know. MVP was announced and, we're looking up to the finals. We'll see what shapes out in this league, Yeah,
that's all I got for today. We'll come back in the finals after the finals and we'll talk about the rest.
Yeah.
All right. That's us signing out, episode 6. Talk to you guys soon.
Peace.